All right, Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shemi, Al-Shah, Shem, Kagodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Akamai that pushing the word and sincerity and the truth. It's the brother of the bars off from Great Millstone, Atlanta. I have a lesson going into the RFID microchip and more proof without a shadow of a doubt that the chip, the very chip or the radio frequency identification device is the mark of the beast. And of course, one major way to prove that is Revelations 13th to 16th chapter. When you go into the Greek word for charagma, goes into something of insertion. All right, a device that's used to insert, and this radio frequency device has been pushed out through the media, through movies, in times of grief and turmoil, apocalyptic times, that they're going to insert chips within the people and track them, rewrite their memory, and various means of actual control. And I just have a little bit more just to add to chipping. And really this aspect goes into the spirit of branding. All right, because brands, products have been branded since the beginning of time. And Esau is looking to brand us just as cattle as he does all his other products. When you dealing with the car dealership, when you're dealing with stores, everything has a logo that's planted on it to represent the branding. That's where you have the term brand name. All right, and it's scripture. So this is under branding. It says a brand is an overall experience of a customer that distinguishes an organization or product from its rivals in the eyes of the customer. Brands are used in business, marketing, and advertising. Name brands are sometimes distinguished from generic or store brands. Right. So continuing on, the practice of branding is thought to have begun with the ancient Egyptians, who were known to engage in livestock branding as early as 2700 BCE. So branding first was established through the Egyptian Empire through livestock branding. They would have an abundance of livestock, and to represent what that livestock would be branded onto, they would actually use a brander to actual identify that of being property of whatever individual owns that. So if the cattle would actually be let loose, he would fall into a ditch. The scriptures speak about that. Certain animals fall into a ditch or being lost. You would actually know who that belongs to through that symbol of branding. All right, that represents, that branding is from the Williams family, or it's from the Smiths, it's from the Browns. They had specific logos for certain families to represent, or they would call them seals to represent the household that they were belong under. And the same thing goes on today. You have king seals, where they would seal certain letters, and it would show that is specifically branded by that king. That letter is branded and specifically by that king, and they would patent that brand so that no other individual would be able to actually utilize that same logo. And Esau is looking to actually brand each and every one of us, because he looks at us as what? Cattle. That's why majority of the people are known as what? Sheep people. And the scriptures speak about us being sheep led to the slaughter. And one of the ways Esau is going to try to slaughter us before he actually takes us out as a nation is he's going to tries to take us out as a nation, going into the Georgia Guidestones, is branding us one by one. And every one of us has right now a social security number. We have a birth certificate, which that's a form of branding. But Esau is going to step up the means with the physical branding, which is branding us with the mark of the beast. And I want to get this scripture and the law. This is Exodus 21 and 6. As a matter of fact, I'll start at 4. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. And this goes into the law of a Hebrew servant, or a servant actually being under the servitude of a master. And it speaks about basically if the master is joined onto that servant, and that servant doesn't want to depart from the master, then it would be a specific way that the a servant would show that he wants to be given to the master for life. So verse 5, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges, he shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with the awl, and he shall serve him forever. Right, so that boring is basically a awl that would be inserted in the individual's ear, and it would represent him being a perpetual slave under his master, and that was lawful in that time. But in 2019, Esau is not going to try to bore you as in the times of the ancients. All right, he's not going to try to use the awl to stick through your ear. He has more techno advancements. The scriptures speak about in Daniel how knowledge shall increase, which is in the form of technology. All right, and through this technology, he's going to brand you as being his as owning you. All right, having full ownership of you. He's going to put a brand's mark, which that mark is the RFID chip, to identify you as his cattle or his spoil. Right, so this is also another aspect of branding is electronic tagging. So this is, under Wikipedia, electronic tagging. It says electronic tagging is a form of surveillance which uses an electronic device fitted to a person. For example, an ankle monitor is used for people who have been sentenced to electronic monitoring by a court or are required to wear a tag upon release from prison. Right. So, electronic tagging or ankle monitors are used to track individuals that, may still be under a probationary period, or they're still under a master for appointed time. Just like when you're under probation, you're under that officer. He has the office of still having you captive. You're still in captivity under him. That's why he has all rights to put a monitor on you, to track you, to make sure that you don't leave your means. You may be on house arrest and things of that nature. All right. And Esau is going to use this same technology to track us in a time of martial law, so that there's no way you'll be able to get away. No way you'll be able to, detach yourself from this system. He wants to be the overlord, and he wants to be God. So jumping down, it says the combination of electronic monitoring with the curfew usually relies on radio frequency technology, which differs from GPS technology. All right. And that's exactly the frequency that he's going to use to monitor you. And in martial law, that's one of the main things that occurs is everybody gets put on curfew. All right. People are imprisoned in their houses. And if you are to disobey that rule, then you have, you could be locked up, you could be, penalized by the federal government, because in the time of martial law, there is no freedom of speech, freedom of rights. Everything is going to be fully under the full totalitarian control of the federal government. All right. And this is the history of it. It says conceptual history. The use of home detention as a means of confinement and control within the home can be traced back to the biblical times when the Romans placed Paul the apostle under house arrest. So even back in the times of Rome, Esau was looking to put us on house arrest, to control us, and to track us. You see? But Esau in that time, that wasn't the times of the end where Esau had the fullness of the technology to fully, give to each and every individual Christian during that time to control them and track them. But he has the full, he has all the technology he needs to control us. First, starting off with these cell phones, to study the algorithm, study our patterns with the GPS. The global positioning system to see how we move and operate. And then he's going to put tags that's going to actually give us restrictions. And if you don't do these things, if you go outside of your means, then you can receive penalization, points drop. They show you that in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, Out of Time with Justin Timberlake. So going down, it says in the 18th century, the English philosopher and social theorist Jeremy Bentham designed the panopticon, a hypothetical prison inside the panopticon. The name is derived from the Greek word all-seeing. The prisoners are arranged in a ring of cells surrounding their guard, who is concealed in a tower in the center. So Esau wants to be all-seeing, and is not that the symbol of Esau? All right, on your dollar bill, the all-seeing eye. All right, and they want to be all-seeing, all-knowing, tracking, registering everything that you see and do. And he wants to be in the full middle of the plan. All right, and that's why the chip is going to be designed to be in the base of your mind. All right, so anything you think, any type of waves you may signal off, is going to go to Esau's database. All right, because the scriptures speak about him who opposeth and exalteth himself as the Most High. Esau wants to be omnipotent, and the highest form of omnipotency is having full access to somebody's brain. All right, their brain waves, their thought pattern, their thinking, the psychology. Esau wants to fully grasp that and hone in on that. So this is Revelation 13:16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. And we just read about the prison system, how they had the all-seeing, the all-seeing setup for full control of prisoners, because they're going to hit the rich, they're going to hit the poor, they're going to hit the free, the bond. It says to receive a mark or electronic tag, a brand, in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, which is the purchase of goods. All right, because there's going to come a time where the goods that you purchase has to be purchased with that electronic tag, and it's going to have a barcode, because when you purchase these goods, you represent goods yourself. All right, you represent the product itself. That's why when you're actually in traffic, the main things that's being trafficked is not cargo, but it's you. In most cases, you're in traffic, driving